Matthew Kopko, Republican candidate for New Jersey Assembly in the 31st District, spoke with Hudson County View after the primaries on June 2nd. One of his first major concerns was on the $225 million Exxon settlement.
Yeah, so I sent up my public comments in yesterday to the Department of Environmental Protection. I think the main things that we're missing right now is total lack of transparency and accountability on the details of the settlement. The administration has not been able to tell the people why this amount is adequate, why they expanded the amount of settlement sites to include not only additional sites beyond Linden and Bayonne, but also gas stations all over the state. So public comment is nice, but we actually need some sort of accountability and transparency out of the government.
Are you still against casinos downtown?
So, sins, alcohol, gambling, etc. is a very complicated issue. I think there's a personal freedom issue at play here where I don't know why we're having government cronies and backdoor deals deciding where casinos happen. I do think that should be up to business owners. If business owners want to increase access to gaming in their facilities, I think that's a much more organic and pro-social avenue than having people meeting in Trenton or meeting in the Meadowlands to decide what's the next mega development, because massive governmental planning tends to not really be long-term sustainable. So I'm glad to look at all the proposals that are being put forth. I don't think that the plan by firemen out by Liberty State Park is going to come to fruition terribly easily, because that is a beautiful natural area, and it's going to be hard to sell people on building a massive casino right next to a beautiful public park.
Do you think that community policing will improve with collar cams?
Yeah, so collar cams I think is just the start of the discussion. We need to have, first of all, a ground-up anti-violence movement in some of these more violent communities. And secondly, I said this at the first debate, but we need to stop criminalizing lack of opportunity. So the reason why there's so much unrest and violence in a lot of these communities is that they don't have a path towards a career, they don't have a path towards opportunity. And if you're in an area where there's no opportunity around you, no matter how hard you try or what you do, on some level, you can't know what else to do but throw your hands up and just start looking at what other options there are, and that's where the gangs start to come in.
You were very passionate in the second debate about tax abatements, about downtown and how it affects the whole northern Jersey.
Yeah, so development policy and development is what I do for my living in New York City, and if you're going to build quality, sustainable communities, the approach that the government's been taking out here, which is to lavish all the attention on the upscale waterfront areas, is not how we're going to solve the problems of the 90% plus of people who are suffering. So it's great and critical to have a thriving waterfront downtown, but there are huge areas of the 31st District that are struggling, and they need a lot of help, and that's where a lot of our community building should be. It shouldn't be where we already have more than enough people and interest developing down by the waterfront.
Well, at one point, Angela McKnight did mention that seniors need tax abatements. Do you agree with her?
Yeah, I think Mrs. McKnight has been counseled to trumpet certain policies that are very transparently trying to buy the senior and veteran vote. I do think that bringing down the cost of living for seniors, who actually a lot in this area who don't own their homes, as they see property prices rising, they're going to be the ones who hurt because they have increased rent. So if we can figure out a way to increase home ownership out here and keep the cost of living down, I think that's going to be the best way to serve our senior citizens.
Why do you think people will listen to you rather than the HCDO machine?
Because I know what I'm doing and they don't. I think that's the basic situation here. If you look at what they said at their victory party, it was three party bosses who got up there talking about how powerful they are, and I didn't hear a single word about what they're going to do for the people of New Jersey. I care that people are getting shot in the street. I care that people don't have jobs. I care that we need to bring great schools back to the area. I care that our curriculum is not revamped for the 21st century. And I think the more that we have that discussion, the more people get involved in the democratic process, it's going to be apparent that there is a movement of people who care and want to get stuff done, and there is a movement of people who are looking out for themselves, and I'm most certainly in the first part.
On a call with Vincent Prado, HCDO chairman, he told Hudson County View that the speech on election night was about politics and not policy.
Actually, that night was about an election. It wasn't about policy. So it was about, and I had said when I did speak, and it wasn't the 31st District because it was the only contested district, and we were talking about Angela and Nick Chiaravalloti, that I had said that, what they're going to bring to the table, it's going to be incredible because of, the types of individuals that they are.
Prado also commented that he's protecting the middle class by replenishing the Transportation Trust Fund, revisiting pension plans, and has also gotten rid of the tax sharing in the Meadowlands District, which gave property tax relief to 7 municipalities of over $7 million. Hudson County View, the eye of the community.